You ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had a lot of questions. How do I record an episode? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other places people like to listen? How do I make money from my podcast? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you get paid for this podcast. What I like about it is starting using it is how easy it is to use. I just upload old episodes of my podcast. I placed it other places, do some editing and tinkering, and voila, that's it. It's that simple. So if you always wanted to start your own podcast, make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start to join me in the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. And now, let's get on with the show. You ever felt you're being watched sometimes? Have you ever had a cold shiver run down your spine? Sometimes we go through that. Sometimes we look for answers to questions we don't really truly understand. Like, are we truly alone in the universe? Is there life after death? This world is weird. It gets weirder by the day. And in that weird are questions that we have as curious beings known as humans. Tonight, we look into some of those questions and get a little weird. Because we all are just a tad bit weird. Tonight on Weekend Weird. Welcome to Weekend Weird, the show about the weird and mundane that's going on in this universe. I'm your host, captain of the ship, producer, Mr. Everything, RedNick. And yeah, welcome back to Weekend Weird. Know it's been a while, been over a month, but life happens. So this show, we're going to do, I thought we'd do a topic that just doing research on the big bad web, and I discovered pretty much this, just happened to stumble upon it, like Hollywood curses. So yeah, we're going to do 3 stories, me and my returning co-host Ogul. We're going to do 3 Hollywood curses that's supposedly out there in the world known as Hollywood, and yeah, we'll take a look and see if they're real or not. So without further ado, me and Ogul do a deep dive into the world of Hollywood curses. All right, so thank you for sticking with the show. Without further ado, here we go.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. How are you?
I'm all right.
Back at another podcast.
Yes. What you been up to since the last time we spoke?
Man, buried under 10 feet of snow.
Yeah, I think that's been going around with everyone in this city.
It's like it was normal. Then we got, a mountain full of snow, and then streets got flooded because of all the melting snow. It's just like, I said to somebody, like, we went from regular mild 40, 50-degree weather to just like winter hell and then back to 50-degree weather. Like, what was all that drama about for 3 weeks?
It's God punishing us.
Man, I'm telling you. Good year, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Just hanging in there, not doing much. Then just working mostly.
trying to stay sane, huh?
Yeah, trying to stay sane. Hopefully, this thing we've seen the light at the end of the tunnel with this pandemic, because I can't take this anymore. I can't.
That is the understatement of the year, man.
Yeah. I haven't like me and a couple of friends are like trying to plan a trip to New Orleans in October, and we're like, hopefully everyone will be vaccinated, everything will be a little bit better. And I'm just sitting there going, I know there's something coming.
By October? I think we should be fine by October.
Hopefully we'll be fine by October.
That the dog with his house burning.
Yes, this is fine. Yeah. we have a temporary guest on the podcast today. I don't think he'll stay the entire time, but
I come and go as a ghost. One of the ghosts you talk about on your podcast.
Yes.
Call me Eduardo Reyes.
Hey, Eduardo Reyes. Well, we won't be talking about ghosts on this episode of Weekend Weird, but might as well be ghost-like almost. What do you know about curses, Ogul?
Well, I know that
in being one,
other than being one,
yeah, this pandemic,
every moment of my life.
Yes.
What do I know about curses? Not a ton. What I do know is that back in high school, I guess we had some affinity for checking out like haunted cemeteries and like haunted houses and things like this. But as far as curses go, other than a Goosebump book here and there, not much.
Not much. Do you believe since you don't know much about curses, do you believe like a object or thing can be cursed at anything?
I will tell you this, my Turkish background, once a Turkish ant puts a fucking curse on you, you're going to be reaping misery for the rest of your life.
Not just like all the Armenians that are like making little voodoo dolls.
That is very true.
Your ancestors.
A weird stabbing.
Not to say that's inherent in any kind of Armenian culture, and of the political strife that's going on in that country. Find some kind of relatively peaceful resolution soon.
You mean in Turkey or in Armenia?
Armenia.
Yeah, of course. I mean, at this stage of our history, of our intertwined history, anyways, that's a whole other.
I got it real quick.
I can't. That's a whole other topic we can do a separate podcast on. But anyways, Nick, you were saying.
Well, I brought up curses because, some people do believe curses exist throughout the world. Like voodoo curses, people bring that up, or like family curses and stuff like that. Do I personally believe in it? No, but the stories we're going to bring you, which you make a judge, the audience, we ask that you make a judge whether curses are real, involves a place, this mythical place that where dreams come true, but yet where dreams sometimes come true for the fortunate few and the rest fall hard. I'm talking about Hollywood.
I was about to say, I'm talking about Bucktown.
No, I'm talking about Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah. There's been a few stories we're going to bring you tonight deal with curses that evolve around Hollywood. they've been around for a while, even though movie making process has barely reached. It's over 100 years old. It's not that old if you look at it in the broad scheme of things, movie making process. But since the move to Hollywood, and certain people believe certain things are like cursed.
Quick question: Did movie making start like as an industry start in Hollywood, or did it move?
No, it started in New Jersey. Thomas Edison was really
electrocuting elephants and everything.
Yeah, filming. Yeah, he didn't invent the moving picture, but he refined the moving pictures. And the move to Hollywood was because his company was so
bankrupt.
No, not bankrupt. Corrupt. He had a monopoly on the movie making industry, and people who wanted to make movies independent of Edison, you couldn't. So what they did, a group of people had moved. First, they wanted to make like Hollywood type land in Chicago.
Oh.
But that was still within the reach of Thomas Edison.
Yeah, leaving New Jersey because it's too corrupt to come to Chicago isn't a good move.
Yeah, and Thomas Edison can still get you, but these group of people found out that Thomas Edison couldn't touch you in California.
West of the Rockies.
Yes, because of how the laws were set up right then, and how his reach was able to harass and get companies to not allow them to use their studios to film and stuff like that. So they moved everything out to Hollywood.
What a dick!
It's like the settlers leaving England, trying to leave the king
pretty much
west to conquer the Western land.
Yes, pretty much. So they moved out to Los Angeles, and they took a plot of land that was only used for farmland, and they decided to build. They ended up purchasing the land, building these studios and stuff like that, and that's how pretty much the Hollywood system was born. But they became just as overbearing for a long period of time until really the 70s, the revolution of the films of the 1970s with the Scorseses and the Coppolas and George Lucas and
the New Age.
The New Age and the end of the studio system and stuff like that. They ended up becoming more. Yeah, and the way the buildup of independent films and stuff like that, they were just as monopolizing as Edison was when these group of people who wanted to make films left New Jersey to make films, and not having to pay Thomas Edison or give homage to Thomas Edison.
Yeah,
but
say hi to the new boss.
Say goodbye to the old boss, hi to the new boss. It's a lot of rich history that goes in there. Like a guy named Troy Taylor, which I'm giving a shout out to. He has a podcast called American Haunting Podcast, and right now he's on a season where they're dealing with Hollywood. He's giving a history of Hollywood and the murders and hauntings and stuff like that. So if y'all want to learn more about the history, go listen to his podcast. He's on Spotify also. But what we're going to do on this show is just talk about a few supposed curses that are on certain Hollywood, either screenplays or movies or families deeply connected with Hollywood. So
okay, interesting. Thank you for that little history lesson of Hollywood.
Yeah, a little small history lesson. Yes. So let's get weird. So the first story we're going to talk about, this is a very wide urban legend. Let's talk about. You ever heard of the book The Incomparable Atuk? Atuk.
Atuk. You brought it up to me. No, I've never heard of this.
Okay, well, Atuk, just short Atuk, is an unfilmed American screenplay intended to be a film adaptation based on a novel of the 1963 book The Incomparable Atuk by Canadian author Mordecai Richler. It's pretty much a fish out of water comedy about a proud and mighty Inuit hunter adapting to life in the big city with elements of racism, materialism, and popular culture.
I see. So, what's the name of the Disney movie? With what's his face?
Dumbo.
No, not Dumbo. The guy from the jungle comes to New York City.
George of the Jungle.
George of